Hi, we're back, and this time we're talking about some questions and answers for some things that come up a lot when we do people's colors and their style. They have a lot of questions.
Right.
So I thought maybe we would address them on camera, cover all our bases.
That's awesome. If you don't know me, I'm Joan Kosmachuk of joankosmachuk.com, and this is Darren Chappelle of Style Prescription. And yeah, we're here to talk about using seasonal color analysis and how that all goes together, right?
Exactly. So a lot of people say, well, they get their colors done and they're thrilled about it.
Yeah.
And they say, well, do I have to throw out all my old clothes?
Oh, that's a good question. I get that question a lot as well. And the answer is no. But I think some people can choose to do that if they want, but I think that most of us, for a variety of reasons, budget, we can't just afford to completely replace our whole wardrobe, but also the practicality of finding those new pieces in your colors takes some time. And some people estimate, it's taken them like about 3 to 5 years to completely change their wardrobe. Now, I know people who've gone to thrift stores, found all of their colors and just completely redid their wardrobe in, a few months' time, but that's rare. So I would say you're gonna first shop your closet and see what are the colors that I already own that are on my palette, because we know we often are attracted to colors that do flatter us, and so you might find that you have more than you think, and those would be the ones I would put in the primary place in your closet, and then the ones that are off, you're gonna put aside, and those will be the clothes that you're gonna want to eventually replace.
Right.
But, during a closet alignment appointment, I would come in and help you figure out how you can make them work in the short term.
Exactly. And there are ways to making clothes work,
Sure.
to a certain degree that you normally would not work.
Right.
Right. So maybe you're putting something closer to your face that's going to bring a pleasant color closer to your face and make you look, harmonious, even though the color may be a little bit off.
Right. And one of the questions I often get asked is, well, does it really matter what I'm wearing on the bottom? And I want to say that it actually does. It matters a lot, because what we're trying to do is draw people to your face. We want people to see you. And so if you are, here I am harmoniously dressed in a jacket and my skin tone shirt, and it's all, allowing you to see me and not the color. But if down below I was wearing suddenly black pants, when your eye follows the color, you get down to the black and your eye is going to stop. And it's not going to bring it back up to my face.
Right.
But if I was wearing this skin tone color all the way down, you're going to come right back up.
And that's exactly what you're
And
doing
that's
right
exactly
now.
what I'm doing right now, yeah.
And I like this because you created a core. So she's wearing a similar color to her tank on the bottom. And so she can change out her jackets. And every time she does, she creates a completely different look.
Right.
And so that's a way of making a small wardrobe. Let's suppose you had to replace your wardrobe with a smaller one. How can you make it stretch so that you can get many, many outfits without looking like you're wearing the same thing all the time?
Yes, and that's, one of the important things as you are replacing your things, we would be directing you is what are the most important things to replace first that will make your wardrobe work and stretch until you are able to buy all the right pieces.
Right. And for some people, it's fairly easy to replace their wardrobe, depending on their style. And for others, they like a very intricate wardrobe with one-of-a-kind pieces that are hard to find. So I would say you start with your basics, but then you can add in all those great finds. Like, for example, here, where she found this beautiful piece, right?
This is an Escada jacket. $750 jacket, and I can tell you it would not be in my wardrobe if I had not snagged it at a thrift store for $30. Right. So, but finding those pieces takes time, and I make a habit of just dropping by my thrift store once a week. Goodwill Boutique, I love to pop in there and check in once a week and see what they have. And sometimes I can go months before I find something, and then all of a sudden there will be something in my color and a fabulous style that works for me.
Exactly. And over time, you're educating yourself on what your fit is, what your style is. And so you don't have to rush it.
Right.
There's always time.
It's kind of like being a museum curator, where what the parameters are that you need, and your color and your style and your fit. And you're hunting those pieces down one at a time, and you're adding them to your closet as you find them.
Exactly. But unlike a museum, those are not things just to view, but to be worn and worn out.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Our next question is, okay, I can't find my colors in the store. What do I do?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think that most people will find it easiest to find their colors in store in their season. So, because the quality of colors is much more available in your season.
So you mean like in the springtime, because you're a spring, you're going to find more of your colors than you would in the winter.
When spring is coming, I get so excited. It's like, my colors are coming back in store. And now at this time of fall, I'm going to find some of them, but probably more my neutrals than my actual brighter colors. And so you learn to shop around the season that works. Then I think the other thing that I find helpful is that I don't limit myself to just, the mall stores, what I call them, but looking in boutiques, looking at factory outlet malls, looking at thrift stores, looking at consignment stores, because those are places that have not just the current, Pantone color trend that's out there, but their buyers are buying for a more diverse clientele, and you'll find more options.
Yeah, there's usually several color stories going on at one time. And let's suppose your color, none of the colors are actually good for you this year. But last year there was a whole bunch of other colors. And the ones that are good for you, nobody's going to even know that it's from last year. I mean, we can hardly even keep up with the ones from this year.
Absolutely.
Right? So when you find something that's good for you and it really matches all of your perimeters, you're going to be able to wear that for a long time. And the only thing that people are going to say is, you always look good.
Yeah, you always look great. And I do think, depending on your color palette, some people have a darker palette, like a Jewel Tone Summer usually has a very dark, heavy, opulent palette, which is easy to shop for in the fall and the winter, and easy to wear in the fall and the winter. But then when the summer heat comes, they're like, I don't know what to wear. And that's when they have to look more for their pastels and build their summer wardrobe perhaps around their pastel colors. So,
and I think oftentimes they can employ their white, or their version of white, and also lighter weight fabrics. So because you're not wearing a big heavy jacket, it's going to cover less skin. So you're going to be a little bit cooler when you're wearing even darker colors, when you're wearing them in lighter weight fabrics or in smaller proportions, and you're wearing more of your white or your lighter blush tones and things like that. You can still look inharmonious while still staying true to your palette. Yeah. Okay, so it says, can my family members wear the same colors that I do?
Oh, that's a good question. So I have a sister who looks very similar to me in many ways, although her hair is more gray than mine, and mine is a little bit more white and blonde. And ours, people would say, oh, you guys look like twins, but our coloring is actually very different. We're both springs, but her energy is much more intense and higher than mine. And her colors are very, very different. Our skin tones are completely different. And, we have one or two maybe overlapping in our supportive colors, but that would be it. So,
just those few colors, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I have many brothers and sisters, in fact, and none of us look alike. So we wouldn't share any of the palettes the same. Everybody's palette is different. So there are some similarities because of the depth of our skin, or perhaps, maybe our eye color or something like that. But other than that, our energy is different. And that really informs how the palette works out too.
It does, and how you wear it.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, good. And the final question is, can I afford to hire a person to do my colors and my style?
Oh, good question. Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think this way, you want to invest in yourself. And when you're making an investment in yourself, when you decide to do this, you may be at a cost up front, but when you think of the long range benefits, it more than pays for itself. I never think about, I paid that money 7 years ago to have my colors done. And because it's paid for itself over and over and over again. So now when I go into the store and I see what I want, I go straight for it. And I don't have to return those items again later on, because I didn't wear them, or I have to give them away.
Yeah, and I think for me as a woman, there are so many things that I spend my money on that are fairly temporary value. from a hair, color and cut, which can cost me as much as a color analysis. Maybe it's going for a facial or some of those things, and they alter my feeling about my appearance for a very short period of time. But what I discovered when I went and spent the money on a seasonal color analysis was that's like, it was a one-time thing. It wasn't like I had to keep doing it every month or every year. I mean, your palette can sometimes change as you age and your hair color changes and things like that, but you're talking about maybe a 10-year gap before you would need to have your colors revisited. So it is an investment that pays off in return over and over and over again. And I don't know, honestly, Darren, I don't know that I could put a price anymore on the value of becoming my authentic self. Yeah. Because I thought, okay, this is going to help me, figure out what to buy and how to dress. But actually, it's been more than that. The colors support me in such a way that I have become more confident. I have just started to own who I am. And I can't even describe how life-changing that is. I'm not trying to be anybody else anymore. I'm no longer trying to be that summer or that winter, woman who I admire. I can still admire them. I love them. I just recognize that will never be me.
I think that, what was it, Dolly Parton said something like, know who you are and then do it on purpose.
That's a great quote.
Yeah. I love that because it's like, you know what, if anything, I become more and more myself instead of what I wasn't before.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Oh, it's
how do you even, you just keep discovering new aspects of who you are and how to express that to others.
Yeah.
So you become more authentic than less.
Right. And I think that's the thing that people don't really understand. They think, color analysis like is this fun party game. And that perception comes because I think, many people simplify the color analysis process. It's only about the color. It's not about what the color brings out in you. And they're doing it often in very generic ways. So it's like, oh yeah, hey, you're spring and here's your colors, or, oh, look at the color of your veins and that's your dramatic color or something like that. But then people don't know what to do with those colors. They don't know how to, how to shop for them, how to wear them, how to integrate them into who they are, because so much more is involved in color analysis than just the color. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's like going down, understanding your season. How does your season inform who you are and how you dress?
And also how the colors, communicate your intention.
Yeah.
So even, let's suppose we could even wear the same color.
Right.
But you know what? Our intention and how it's going to come out is going to be different.
Yeah.
So what's dramatic on her may not be dramatic. It may be subtle on me.
Yeah, it could be his quiet color.
Yeah. So
yes.
When you know that, you're communicating your intention, then every time you leave the house, you're more focused on what you're about to do. And that's why my motto is like, don't just show up, because that means you're just there at random. It's like arrive. Arrive means that you have an intention and that you know what you want to do.
And that you prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you're ready for it. Awesome.
So I'm Darren Chappelle from Style Prescription, and you are?
Joan Kosmachuk from joancosmachuk.com, helping you be seen and known for what you do best.
Perfect.